A bit of a shakeup just 3 months before the Republican National Convention. It's set to take place in Charlotte, but Governor Kemp once in. New at 11, Hope Ford explains Kemp wasn't the only Republican leader to pounce on the golden opportunity.
But we're not going to sacrifice the health and safety of North Carolinians, and that's the bottom line.
North Carolina's Governor Roy Cooper says he's already working with the Republican National Committee to hold the convention in Charlotte in a safe way.
We've had discussions with them about a very limited convention all the way up, and we want to see in writing what their plans are.
But Republican leaders in Florida, Texas, and Georgia quickly offered their states as alternatives. Governor Kemp tweeting Georgia will be honored to safely host the Republican National Convention. But according to our sister station, Charlotte's WCNC, for the convention to swap states legally, Governor Cooper would either need to allow mass gatherings or break the contract between Charlotte and the RNC. If Charlotte cancels, the city would have to pay back a $50 million security grant it received from the federal government. If the RNC breaks the contract, the committee could be liable for part or all of the $5.5 million licensing fee for Charlotte's arena. Among the other considerations, the spread of COVID-19. It's unclear what that may look like 3 months from now. Although North Carolina and Georgia have similar population sizes, to date, Georgia's conducted more testing and has more positive cases than its northern neighbor. Medical experts say under current conditions, it would be risky to pack 20,000 people into an arena for a convention. Dr. Sujatha Reddy.
I would think they would have to have definitely not every seat filled. I think you'd have to have that separation. I think you'd have to have people wearing masks. We're applying the rules as they are today, so it's hard to know what's going to happen later in the summer.
While Governor Kemp offered up the state as an option, Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms said in a statement the city's current plan doesn't allow for any large gatherings in August.
So Hope, let's talk about the DNC now. We know it's scheduled to take place a week before the RNC. Any plans there being made?
Well, the DNC hasn't revealed its plans yet. It is still scheduled to take place in Milwaukee right now. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi told C-SPAN the DNC could be held in what she called a gigantic place to allow for social distancing. And presumptive Democratic nominee Joe Biden suggested the DNC be held virtually.
All right, Hope Ford, thank you. Tonight, we are Where Atlanta Speaks. We want to hear from you about this one. Are you in favor of Atlanta hosting the RNC here in August? Cast your vote right now on our live poll on the 11 Alive app, or you can hit us up on 11alive.com/vote.